All right. Well, good morning. Let's get started as we're waiting for some more to jump on. I know it's a crazy week with everyone with the holiday and things, so hopefully everybody gets on pretty quickly and we can roll through this. So with the group that I've got on, I've got Maria, I got Michelle, I got both Michelle's, Michelle Dose group on. So let's talk about where we're at with our self-work and homework from last week. So I know we talked about understanding communication styles and where we're at. So now we can start communicating with people and bring more people into our world and have a better relationship with those that we're communicating with. So which of the 4 communication styles did you guys identify with? And what do you find that with those communication styles of others, do you think you struggle with the most? And what seems to be the struggle? So why don't we open that up? Maria or Michelle? So Michelle's wrapping up a call on this. So what communication style do you identify with? Which is the communication style that you struggle the most with? And what seems to be the struggle? I know Michelle's driving, but.
Hey, Mike, it's Caldwell.
Yeah.
So for me, even, the first time that we went through this, I think it was the analyticals, because they're so data driven. I think or the drivers. It's either the drivers or the analytics. To me, it really is just to ensure, once I've identified that I bring it, shoot right from the hip, and there's no fluff, and it's straight data, right, to the point. And with the personality type that I am, it's a shift for me, and it makes me uncomfortable, but I'm working through that.
Awesome.
Because I'm the, I'm the talker, and in my process of listen more, talk less. Yep. But that particular type of personality is a work in progress for me.
Yeah, remember, we're just trying to adapt. We're trying to be more versatile. So it's going to be a struggle. Yep. You're only comfortable being who you are. You're not comfortable being who you're not. And no matter how much practice and how much you have, you still are not going to be comfortable. You're just going to understand and be able to communicate and use the right terms. When you're with an analytical, drivers want data and stuff as well, but they want data quickly, and they want to point to it. They don't want to. You keep throwing things at a driver, they're going to be like, "What does this mean?" But they want to back it up. They want validation of what you're saying, because drivers have a way of thinking, and a lot of people think that you can't convince, or they're stubborn. And really, what a driver is, because I'm a driver, so I know what I have in my personality. It's I am open to other people's opinions and where they're at, but they have to convince me they're right. And if they don't convince me,
that's the truth.
I'm not open to it. So a lot of people love to just throw things out, but don't have anything behind it. And drivers want something behind it. They want the meat. They want, okay, I'll take that risk because I trust you. And their trust with the driver is earned quickly. And if you don't get it, it's hard to ever get it. But an analytical, just know, Michelle, you're doing great with that, and understanding, having awareness. Sometimes you just have to ask some questions. Sometimes you just have to say things in the right way. Sometimes you just have to let people know, hey, I'm sorry, I'm moving really fast. I'm a very expressive personality, but what I hear you saying is you want some data. Is that correct?
Yeah.
And now you bring them right down, and you bring them into where they're at, and you've expressed a little bit about yourself, and they respect it. They're like, yeah, that's what I want. Okay, let's get that. Or what data would you feel comfortable seeing that would make you want to sign a contract and put your house on the market today?
Perfect.
Things like that gets them to answer and gets what they want. And nobody talks that way to them. They're usually just walking in with sheets and going, doing it the way they've always done it, and this is the way your home should be. And they're like, okay. They don't get it.
Yeah.
They don't get it. I can tell you from hanging around the best of the best, they're not better than anyone else in the fact that they are just slicker. They have more things. What they do with everyone that they get into business with, they connect. They may not connect to where they're best friends, but they connect, and that individual that they're doing business with feels comfortable. because a lot of people go to a listing appointment and come back, they're like, they're going to list, they're going to list with me if it was a great meeting. They felt really good. They bought into my price, and I feel like I'm going to get it. And then they find out they listed with someone else, and they're like, oh, they listed at the same price that I told them. They should have. It's going to sell, and they're going to wish they would have listed with me. And I'm always like, that individual connected with them. You did. They don't care about the number.
Exactly.
They care about the connection.
Right. Yeah, I mean, that makes sense because I've heard that a few times in my office, and that's literally how it's come down.
Yeah.
I mean, we know Mike's a driver with, high analytics, and there's been times where he said, oh my God, they went with somebody and it's exact same price. So that makes sense to me.
And Mike's a great example. And Maria and Steve, you don't know Mike, but we'll get him on a call. You guys get it. But he's a great example because he's a big guy. He's forceful. He does, he's very a driver personality, but he's a teddy bear. And when you connect with him, he's a teddy bear. And most people don't think, oh, he's a rough personality or this or that. No, you just don't know him. When you know him, he's a teddy bear. And a lot of drivers are that way. A lot of drivers are very, very calm, and they're a lot of fun to be around, but they don't show it. They only show it to their group because they don't feel open to
He's actually very pliable.
He is, but he's that way with people that he trusts. So, and that's the way drivers are. Once you get trust, they will show who they are. When they don't trust you, they keep you at arm's distance because they don't believe that there's a reason to have you in their world until you show them. Maria, you're gonna have something about what personality style you are and what you think you struggle with and what it actually is, and kind of walk through it. Can you guys hear me all right?
Good morning.
I'm on a
Is it
pretty
my
weak
turn?
internet connection here, and it keeps popping up saying my internet connection is unstable. So I
am too.
Okay, so I apologize if that's getting screwed up for you guys. But yeah, just share like what personality style you are and what you identify with of other personality styles that you struggle with, and what seems to be the struggle.
Is it okay if I talk? This is Maria.
Yep, go ahead, Maria.
Can you hear me okay? Good morning, everyone.
Morning.
So it was funny because after a conversation after our Zoom meeting last week, I actually went to I saw a for sale by owner, and I called the lady, and it was interesting because she actually had I introduced myself to her. I was like, okay, I'm going to make this contact. I'm going to make the call, and I'm going to, try to sell myself. And, but she was very closed off. She's like, well, she knew she wanted to get a lot for her home. And she knew that she was, I think, but she wasn't in a hurry. She was like, well, I want to get 470, but I know that there's a lot of properties in the area that are closing for less, but this is what I want. I'm not in a hurry. And we connected. We had the same name. I understood, what it is she wanted. And I told her, I could help her. I think I used every personality I could with her, but she says, well, I'm not going to make a decision until after Thanksgiving. And, I told her what my percentage, because everybody wants to know what you charge to list their home. And she said, basically, well, I can get someone, I've had several agents call me that would be willing to list my house for or just put it into the MLS for 500,000 or for $500 or $600. And I thought, wow, I can't beat that. I mean, I didn't know really what to tell her other than, well, I told her every single thing I could do for her. I could, I even called her twice. I even called my broker and I said, what could we do for her? And She doesn't want to spend a lot of money. And he was like, well, yeah, try to get it. And here's what you could do. And, but it just didn't seem like anything I said was something she wanted to hear. So I said, okay, well, good luck. You know, after I pretty much on the second call, I said, well, good luck. I hope everything goes well with you, and I hope you get what you want for it. But I'm proud of myself because normally I wouldn't have made a call like
No,
that,
that's great.
or
That's
even a
great.
second call, just to,
Yeah.
you know,
No, that's
because it
awesome.
is,
And I
I
applaud you for
mean,
doing something that was uncomfortable. And now you're going to grow through it.
no, and I did. I felt like I totally grew through that. And it wasn't like, oh my gosh, if I don't get the listing, you know, obviously we were not on the same page, but you know, it used to be where I could call people and pretty much convince them of anything. You know, I feel like
Yeah.
I've lost that a little bit. And not that I want to
Well,
convince someone of, you know, what they don't want to do, but at least I want to make the attempt.
yeah. And I appreciate it, Maria, with what you shared. This is great content right here. And this is it. Permission to coach you for a second. Maria, do I have permission to coach you for a second?
Of course, please do.
Okay. You made a comment towards the end there that was pivotal. You said, you know, you can usually help convince people. You're able to connect with people, and you were unable to do that with this particular person. What do you feel is the reason you were unable to convince them?
I think because we weren't on the same page as far as, you know,
Yeah. Because you were, and that's great. This is a great example, guys. Maria, you're on the page of, I want to list the property. She's on this page that she's putting up a smoke screen that she doesn't have to sell right away.
Right.
Okay. Understand the programming of people. That is a smoke screen. It's just like if you go into the store this afternoon and you're looking for a pair of shoes and you walk into Nordstrom's and you walk into the shoe department, someone's going to walk up to you and say, can I help you? And 9 times out of 10, you're going to respond with what?
No, thank you.
No, thank you. I'm just looking, right?
Just looking. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No shit, you're just looking. You're looking to buy a pair of shoes because you're in the store. You know what I mean? But we're programmed to say that. You know, so the person that asks them the next question is the person that works with them. And the next question is, that's great, Maria. What exactly are you looking for? You know, and you can help them. That's that salesperson that you will come in. You said you were telling her everything. Selling isn't telling. Selling is asking questions. So the couple questions I would thought of right at the top of my head as you were saying things that I would add to my dialogue. So now you can take that experience that you got uncomfortable and you can win with it next time is, so let me ask you, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, I know you don't have to sell, but if you were to sell, where are you moving to?
Well, they were moving out of state, she said.
Okay.
I did ask
Where
her,
out of
you know,
state are you
where.
moving?
Mm-hmm.
You know, where are you moving?
I think she said Arizona. I think
Okay.
she had said Arizona.
What's specific about Arizona that's taking you to Arizona from here? What are you going to? What's the big thing that's driving you out there? You know, I'm asking a deeper question. So I want to know why they're going where they're going. Then my next question is going to be, how soon do you need to be there? You know, in Michigan versus California, it's really easy. Most people are trying to get away from the weather. So we can go deeper with the weather and go in and say, well, what would it be like if you spent another winter here and you weren't in Arizona enjoying the sunshine? But most likely it's probably family or some reason that they're moving over there. And just say, what if your home doesn't sell? Are you still going to move to Arizona? You know, you just keep pressing that pain point of them not being able to go where they want to go. They have to sell if they want
good.
that.
That's good.
But when you identify where they want to go, there is no such thing as I don't have to sell. Then it is, are you looking to rent this property and turn this into an income home while you move to Arizona? You know, you start peeling the layers back and getting to what their motivation is. They either have to sell or they've got to turn that into investment, or they need someone to help them go where they need to go. And you can connect the dots with someone. They don't put a for sale sign up in front of their house if they don't have to, and say they don't have to sell. Nobody's that crazy.
Mhm.
You know, people do that on investment homes if they're renting them, going, oh, you know, the market's gone way up. You know, I bought this property for 600,000 and now it's worth almost $1 million. I'm renting it every week, but maybe I'll sell this and take my $400,000 profit now and go roll it into something else. You know, they'll do those kind of things based on numbers. And when you talk to them, you can help them navigate through that. You just ask more questions. There's a reason she needs to sell. There's a reason they're going to Arizona, and you need to find it. So I'd follow up with her, you know, maybe call her Friday after Thanksgiving and just say, hey, I just want to check with you. How was your Thanksgiving? How was your traffic on the home? You know, I just have some questions for you. Where in Arizona are you going? What's taking you there? You know, start going deeper with her. Get her emotional about if it doesn't happen. Then you're on the same page. Because that statement you said, we weren't on the same page, is exactly it. We're usually on a page that we want the listing, and they're on a page trying to guard us to be vulnerable to them. And we need to get them to be vulnerable.
Right. I agree. I agree with that, because I think I could have been a little bit more interested in, or I should have been more connecting with what it is, you know, her emotional side, but I was more interested in, here's what I could do for you. And so I think that was it.
And I want you, Maria, and then everyone that's watching this, and everyone that's on this call, is when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. And when I was under the point where I got over my ego and got over my poor me or I can't kind of mindset, because I would go on an appointment and I didn't get it and I would feel like it was a loss. When I started analyzing the appointment, started looking at the dialogue, started looking at how I can go, a situation like this, you could have taken that listing and then you still are the person you are and you still ask the questions you ask. When you don't get this listing and you learn from it, you're going to get 6 to 8 to 10 to 12 more listings down the road, because you're better at what you did by not getting that one.
I believe
you know, and that,
thank you.
Once I changed my mindset around that, then I didn't get upset at appointments. I didn't let it drag me down. I was like, okay, next, you know, now I get better. And now it's the point where I just know if I go on enough appointments, I'm going to get what I want. I don't worry about the lack of appointments. I worry about just filling my schedule. I'll talk to anybody because it's a numbers game. You talk to 4 for sale by owners, you're probably going to list 2 of them. You know that most of your for sale by owners lots of times are analyticals, because they know they know everything. They know all the data. So so you got to go in and do that. So you know that analyticals don't make decisions quickly. So when their property goes on the market and you call them, the person that stays in relationship with them with the 3 to 4 weeks during their trying this out is usually the person who ends up getting that listing. So just get in that relationship, stick with them, understand that their personality styles are going to do that. You know, and kind of understand some of your driver personalities, depending on what they bring along with them. If they have an analytical side, they probably will be a for sale by owner. Expressive, most likely not, because they're late, they're fine. And if they are an expressive that's on for sale by owner, stay close with them for the first week, because they're going to get bored. You know, just that's the power of understanding people. When we start looking at everyone and starting to get to know them a little bit better and see how they react, and you just start learning the way people are talking and saying and doing things. Now you can go help them. It's not about manipulating them, it's about helping them. You know, your whole mission is to help her get to Arizona, because that's what she wants. And let her see and future pace herself. If it doesn't happen, what is it going to be like if she stays in California or wherever she's at?
Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, that's good. Thank you.
Yep. Well, thank you for sharing that. So,
You're welcome.
I know there's lots of, when there's things to share, the people that bring it up are usually helping the other out because the other one's not saying it, but they're feeling the same kind of thing, or if they haven't come across that, they're going to come across it and they'll be like, oh, I heard Maria talk about this. This is how she navigated it. This is what I'll do.
Thank you.
So,
Hey, Mike,
Michelle,
I
yeah.
have something to piggyback off that because Maria, it really does work. I had a listing that, hold on. I had a listing that initial conversation was I'm moving from Michigan to Ohio and I'm going there for my kids. And I remember, writing that down in my notes. We got to the negotiation piece, and this is a seller that was hell bent on not accepting anything under the listing price, which we could have come down a little bit. And she wanted to bring that up again of I only want full price. And I said, it's only a $600 difference, and I would hate for you to delay your move to Ohio to be with your grandkids. And that is what changed her mind.
Oh, that's good. I like that.
Just that one thing. Yep. So it does work. I can see, I can test for it. Yeah.
When you get those people in listed, when you have those conversations, you get deep with them, you can then turn it into, because I use this a lot. I forgot who told me this, but it works as a gem. Is I like tell people, from this point backwards, the time you bought the home till now, you've lived in this home. This is a place of warmth and comfort and everything. Now that we're going to put a for sale sign out, now we have to go from living in it to showcasing it. It becomes a product.
Oh, that's good.
So every day that it's on the market, it costs you money because it's keeping you from where you want to go. And there's carrying costs with your product. There's interest you pay, there's this or that. Get them to think about this home as a product or a business from the moment they put it on the market. Prior to it, it's not. Prior to it, it's just a place of comfort, warmth. Their kids grow up, they enjoy it. They're not going to enjoy this next part because they got to sell it and they got to maximize the profit. So $600 today in a price reduction could actually save them $1,500 over 30 or 40-day period that they're never going to see. But you can't do that until you start having conversations with them about putting their property on the market, because people that are living in their home and they're comfortable, they don't want to talk or think that way. But when you get their home on the market, you can go down that road. So Maria, you mentioned one thing that I want to make sure we hit with it. Is you talked about, she asked you what you charge. Try to switch your dialogue from what you charge to what you earn. And I mean by that, like, just say, when I take your listing, I don't charge you anything. I earn 6% at the closing table when you get paid.
There's so much competition in this area. There's just so much.
Yeah. And
she basically, yeah.
And if people are only driven by that number, you just got to stay strong. And if they need you, they need you. If they don't, move on to someone that will.
Yeah. And I was okay with it.
Lots of people are testing us as agents with that. Is they want to see, because we're all kind of wired very similar. Is we like to control. We all like to be in control at some point. So when we hire someone to do work, we still want to have control. We don't want that person to have all the control. We want to feel like we're paying them, they're doing this for us, kind of thing. And that's just what we are, the way we're kind of wired. So people like asking you what you charge because they want to know who is going to buckle for them. They like that feeling. They're never going to say it to you. They're never going to admit it, but it's wired in us. It's just part of who we are. We're looking for it. So the person that buckles, sometimes they're looking at going, well, if they stumble through it or they can't answer me clearly, they're weak. If they stumble right away, then I own this person and they're going to do and put their house on the market overpriced, and they're going to, they feel comfortable with that route. When you can just kind of lightly put it off and go, that's a great question, Maria. We're going to get to that after. right now I gotta look at how much money I can put in your pocket from selling your home and what you're gonna be able to do with that money. You know, let's get concrete on where the mark is at, and then we'll talk about what it's gonna cost you to sell the home after. Sometimes you can do that with people if you get them going in the right way. If you say it right away, they're like, oh, I got control, Maria, let's go. They got you on a hook.
Right.
But sometimes just throw a mixed dialogue. It's not what you charge. It's what you earn and what you net them.
I did explain to her pretty much what it costs, or, you know, that I could make up the difference, you know, like she wouldn't miss the commission because I'm going to get her more than what she was asking for. By far, that had the best curb appeal. There was so many things there that I know buyers are always looking for. RV parking, single story. I mean, it was just everything that was there. Mature palm trees, you know, a newer roof. And I looked at all of that and I said, okay, we're going to get you more than what you were thinking. And you're not going to, you know, the commission, if you're willing to pay me to bring you a buyer at 2%, I'm actually going to get you more than what you're thinking. But we're going to be able to, you know, I like to use this analogy, but I don't know if it even really works for most people, but I like to use it. I always tell people, you know, if you list it for sale by owner, it's like looking through a peeky hole and try to look at what's inside a house. But, you know, if you're getting me or an agent, period, to put it into the MLS, it's like opening up your double doors and letting everyone look inside, you know, getting a real view of what's inside. So, you know, and I explained it to her a couple different ways. And, you know, I think when someone has their brain set on something, it's hard to tap into it. No matter what your dialogue is, no matter how you present it, she was pretty firm on her thought process and she wasn't budging. I mean, I think that, and she came out and said, you know, I've had so many agents call me, which I get it because now she's bombarded with information in her brain and she couldn't make a decision to begin with because she's set in one particular thought process and then she has a lot of input. She really didn't, you know, she doesn't know which direction to go into. I think it, you know, when I was done with her, I could tell she was a little overwhelmed.
Oh, I'm sure she was.
And I said to her, okay, well, good luck, you know, because to keep your brain set on a number, to keep your mindset, it's not so much that she's letting other information in as much as she's just, that number was so concrete in her brain that by the, you know, if she does get another, you know, well, I'm sure she will get an agent. She did say she had an offer that had come in, a cash offer, you know, but you know, sometimes people leave so much on the table, or she wasn't taking that cash. Yeah, she wasn't taking that cash offer because she said it was too low. But I think she was testing the waters and getting a feel. And it's hard for me personally sometimes to work with someone that doesn't know exactly what they want. I want to get the home sold. This is the range that I would like to get. I like to work with people like that. It's hard for me to reel someone in when they're just everywhere. They're all over the page. Like, and I'm that person that's like in tune with what they want. Like sometimes I know what a client wants more than, you know, what they want. Like I understand what their needs are and how that they can get there. I know like the end result of how it's going to take place, but unless they're willing to open up and it's funny that you say that, you know, we have to be ourselves, they have to be themselves too, you know, in order to be helped correctly. And you know,
you've got
I've been
so
in the
much
real
stuff
estate
here.
business, you know, since
I want
04,
you guys
but
to go back and watch this part and listen to what Maria's saying because it's so powerful to learn from. And And it really comes down to you have to give them permission to be themselves. You have to give them
Yes.
permission by asking them the right questions and allowing them to open up. She's got a number. She knows what she wants. She just doesn't know how to navigate to get it. That's where our expertise comes in. Maria, your superpowers, you know how to navigate through the forest to get there. She needs you, and she needs to hold your hand as you direct her through. We go to the doctor knowing that we don't feel well, and we know that, and we trust that he's going to ask us questions, and he's going to help us feel better with his prescription. He has to ask us questions in order to be able to diagnose us. If we stand there and put up a wall and don't give him anything, most likely we're going to walk out of there with the wrong prescription, and we're still going to feel like crap. And it's our fault, not the doctor's fault. So just keep going deeper. Keep finding the reason she needs to go there. And it's not about the number. The number is a smoke screen to have so she can have control. It's about getting to Arizona. And the person that connects with her and gets her to open up and to share why she wants to be there and what's happening there and all these things, and making her feel comfortable, is the person that's going to end up listing her home. So we got Steve joined us, and we got Anna that joined us. We were kind of going over our self-work from last week. We haven't jumped into the new session just yet. We were just kind of talking about identifying what communication style we are, and then talking about the communication style that we struggle with the most, and talking through what that struggle is. So do you guys want to share anything or go through that? This would be the time. And then we'll spend a little bit of time going through our next session. So either one of you got anything you want to share?
Well, I will say that I'm a little bit torn as to what I am, because I don't like all the fluff coming at me. So when somebody's trying to say, give me everything wrapped up in fluff and marshmallows, I'm like, okay, come on. But I wouldn't say that I'm necessarily an analytical myself, but I have a lot of analyticals in my family. So I think I'm pretty good at identifying the type of person, because I try and listen to them in the very beginning, because you can usually tell from the get-go as what they're starting out with as to what type of person they are and what they're looking to trip you up with, so to speak. So I do find that if you just listen in the very beginning, then you can change your course or adapt your course as necessary to that person. Sometimes I might have a problem with some of the fluffy people, because I can be a little bit, I have to check myself and be like, okay, they're a little bit more emotional on things, so I need to play into that. And those are the ones that I can handle them okay, but I have to check myself to make sure that, because as Codwell knows, I can be a little bit brass. So I try not to do that with people.
We all can be when we're pushed the right way.
Yeah.
You know, I heard this analogy one time, and this may help you kind of all through understanding people. You know, if you take the 4 personality styles and you treat it like you're on a tour bus. Ever been on a tour bus, like driving around Manhattan or being somewhere like, or in California, driving around like Hollywood or something? If you just picture that tour bus, and now you go through the personality styles, the driver is actually driving the bus. I mean, that's pretty clear. You know, he's getting you to where you want to go. The expressive is the person on the bus with the microphone going, hey, that's that's O.J. Simpson's house over here, or this is the Eiffel Tower, wherever they're at, talking about things and giving you all the information because they like to talk, like to be the center of everything. Your amiable is the most of the people on the bus just sitting there, taking pictures, looking around. This is the greatest thing. This is so much fun, and they're just looking. Your analytical is the person on the bus going, if that bus driver would have turned at that turn back there, we would have been here a little quicker. So if you understand that kind of process and thinking, put people in those situations, it helps you with that. And if you're kind of that way, or you think about that sometimes, going, you know, if this person's running late, why are they at, or you are on time, you probably have a little bit of analytical side in. If you really enjoy the beauty and the things going on around you, you're probably an amiable. You know, if you love being up on stage and performing and love the energy you get from the crowd, you're an expressive. You know, if you like to just take control and get people where they want to go, you're a driver. You know, it's that kind of simple mindset, and you're going to have all of those are going to come up into it, but they're going to come up, you know, the driver personality may show itself when you're under stress. You know, you may have to get uncomfortable and then you get to this, or you're like, someone's gonna, as a mother, you have a driver personality at a point because you're a mom. You know, don't fuck with my kids. Don't, you know, obviously you will jump in and take care of things that is so out of your normal spot because you're defending what you have. You know, and so there's times where they will come up, but it's not your normal communication style. It's not who you are. You don't wake up, feet hit the floor, and that's who you are. You've got to get yourself into a situation and then look out. You know, I mean, we all have, how many times have we said, don't piss mom off growing up? It's because when your mother gets upset, then this spot comes out. You don't want to see that spot. Let it go. Let it lie low. You know, into there. So it's great. I mean, I'm glad you guys all shared these things. And now just turn what we went through in this session into fun. Always analyze people you're around. Always get to know people and understand what makes them tick. Why do they say what they say? You know, how could I come in and make this person feel a little more comfortable? What question can I ask? Because Maria said it so perfect, and she said we weren't on the same page. And always look at what's keeping me from being on their page. And what's keeping them from being on my page. You know, look at it from both ways. Most of the time, it's we didn't ask enough questions, and at the same time, through those questions, we couldn't open up and be who we really are. And you'd be surprised at how many times you can use that 6 degrees of separation and connect the dots with other things. There may be something or someone you know or whatever in the area of Arizona that she's going to or has done what you've done, and you can start connecting because you can talk about this place or do that. Or there's been lots of times when I ask more questions somehow, or I walk through the house and I see a picture and I'm like, hey, have you been there? Yeah, that's one of our favorite vacation places. And you're like, oh, I've been there. And you start talking about a restaurant that's 800 miles away from where you're at. And now you are instantly connected because they can picture themselves in there. You've been there with them. It's such a cool thing. And it only comes up by asking questions. I know most of the time when I walk out of an appointment, if I didn't get it, I can look back and see that that was an appointment that I didn't ask a lot of questions. My energy was low because of it. Something was on my mind, and the only thing I was thinking about was getting out of there. And it happened. We're human. So kind of work through it. So today's session, guys, I'm going to hit through this, and we will pick this up and do more of this next week after the holiday. But this was such great questions and things that I think you guys are all going to get a lot out of us spending more time in session 6 with communication styles than ignoring it and going right into session 7. So this one, we're talking about lead conversion techniques. You know, we need to start understanding what is a lead. First of all, we need to understand what the difference between a lead and a prospect is. A lead is anyone who wants to buy, sell, or invest in a home. Okay, that's a lead. A prospect is someone that you've asked questions, you've gotten to know, you're bonded with, you've pre-qualified them, and you've moved them into a prospect. That's the difference, okay, guys? A lead is anyone, just anyone who wants to buy, sell, or invest in a home. And we know that everyone on the planet, sooner or later, wants to do that. They may rent, they may buy, we know everyone is going to do that. Everyone has to have a roof over their head of some sort. So there's no such thing as a bad lead. like Steve says, unless they're dead, they file a restraining order, or they give you the wrong number. There's nothing that's bad about it because you can still communicate with them. And we need to keep adding, I'm not flipping over. We need to keep adding people to our funnel. The more people in our funnel, the more that comes out. So you can't take an unmotivated, unqualified lead and make them motivated and qualified. You can't do it. All you can do is ask questions and pull the motivation out of them. And then once you have it, put a magnifying glass on it. Use pleasure versus pain. That's how we think and how we do things. We stay away from things that are going to bring us pain, and we move towards things that are going to bring us pleasure. When we put a light on it and we show it out there more, we'll do more of that. So the person that brings that up, if you look at any commercial now, you're going to see that there is a pleasure pain thrown into it. The media, pleasure pain. They're making you get fearful about whatever's going on. And now you'll watch more and you stay into it and you stay in this way. They're constantly playing on your pleasure pain. So like lead with prospecting, it's like anything with follow-up or anything in sales. It's a numbers game. We have to be fanatical about our lead follow-up. They gave you their phone number, their email, and all that for a reason. You need to take advantage of it. You need to communicate with them. You need to be fanatical about it and keep going. How many can you afford to lose by not doing lead follow-up? 70% of your income comes from follow-up. When you really start looking at it, it's not the first call that turns into an appointment. It's not the first time you talk to someone. It's the follow-up, the communication that goes on that brings the majority of it. So if we're struggling in earning the money we want to earn, the first question you need to ask yourself, because I had to ask it, was how much follow-up, how much constant relationship building was I doing? And I realized I was doing very little. I was only in it for the hunt, for the moment in my first year. I was like, I want to kill, I want to get this, and then I want to eat my meat, kind of thing. And I didn't develop the relationship. That's where the lead follow-up comes in, is you're developing that. You're working on doing that so that it'll sustain and it'll grow. One of our fears of doing lead follow-up is specifically asking for a person's motivation. We have a fear with that. We have a fear asking why. Where is their motivation? If they don't lead with it, we're kind of sitting there with the mindset of they're not motivated. They are. They just don't feel comfortable sharing it with you. Nobody puts their house on the market and doesn't have to sell. There is a reason they put it on. Either they've put it on inflated at a high price because someone gave them bad advice. But if you tell them where their property could probably go and put it all out and understand, they probably still would sell at that particular rate. Or you need to find out why they're selling at that. Maybe it's an investment property, they're having trouble renting it. Maybe you can help them connect it with the right type of platform, and you can help them rent it and get people in it and still help them. But every person that's out there, you can help. We have to remember that our jobs are, number one, to generate leads, number two, to convert those leads, and number three, to go on appointments. And that's where I told you guys, we have 5 things that make us 80% of our money. This is our job description. A, go on listing appointments. B, or lead, sorry, rewind, you didn't hear that first one. Number 1, lead generate. Number 2, lead follow-up. Number 3, go on appointments daily. Number 4, negotiate contracts. And number 5, the 5th thing that we do is we practice our scripts, our role play, and our skill set. Those 5 things make us 80% of our income. So I want you guys to constantly I want you to know those 5 things and look at them all the time and look at how often those 5 items are showing up on your schedule. And if they're not showing up at all, start adding them at small increments. Give me 15 minutes consistently every day. Then when you get comfortable with that, go to 30. Whatever it is, just know that you're going to double or get more than you had in the past. And when you do those 5 things, everything else goes away. It's a numbers game. The way out of any problem is always to go get more. It sounds crazy at times, but like, I have a bunch of listings that won't sell. What do I need to do? Well, get price reductions and go get more. Go get them motivated and go find them. Leads have no value, guys. Appointments and contracts have value. But you need a contact that leads to an appointment, and that appointment leads to a contract, and that contract leads to a closing. So even though the leads have no value, you have to work them and follow up with them and build a relationship to create value. So like I said to you earlier, we know 70% of our business is coming from lead follow-up. Spend some time after this call really looking at our schedule and look to see how much money do we think we're losing by not doing our lead follow-up. And our lead follow-up isn't just because we ran an ad or signed calls or things like that. Our lead follow-up also is the people that are in our world. It's our relationship building. By not doing that consistently, struggling with getting the 22 done over time is going to cost us money. We don't know how much, but we know it's costing us money. We know that every time we put something off, we've pushed our dreams and our stuff back, not just a day by pushing it off. It could be a week, a year, 2 years, because once you start pushing things off consistently, it takes so much energy to get back into that momentum. What is it? It's I don't know. Isn't it like 201 degrees or 211 degrees or something, the point that water boils? Somewhere around, whatever that number is. I don't know the exact number, but I do know that the amount of energy to get it from 0 to 1 degree cooler than boiling is less than it takes to go that last degree. Think about that. That little last degree takes more energy than it took to go from 0 to that point. It gets to boil. Once you get to boiling water, you can produce enough energy for a locomotive to drive through a brick wall. That 1 degree. So keep looking at the difference that we're at with our lead generation and our struggles and what we're implementing into our mind as an excuse of why we're not doing it. What that 1 degree can cost us. Us not hitting consistent numbers and talking to people can cost us so much over time. But that one little spot to get us to where we need to go is going to take a lot of energy to go. But once you get there, you've got momentum that will go through a brick wall with boiling water. It's pretty crazy. So here's where it gets really strange, guys. And that's why we need to understand that consistency always wins. Is our goal is to call the leads that we have, our prospects, everyone that we've got, at the exact moment that they need our help. And the only way to do that is constant communication, because we can never really time it. So if we have emails, social media posts, all these things happening, and phone calls and text messages, all this stuff working in unison together consistently, we have a high likelihood of hitting them when they need us. If we're only going to walk around with this and only call people once in a while, the likelihood of us hitting them when they need us is so slim that that's where we lose people. They do know you sell real estate, but they don't know it in the top of their mind to call on you when they need you the most. They're going to go the path of least resistance, like you would do at the shoe store. When you tell someone, no, I'm just looking. And then when you find the pair of shoes you want, you turn around and look for the closest person to you to go see if they have it in your size. You don't go find that first person unless that first person followed you around the store. So think about that. That's how we are in this business, is we got to get in front of them. We are in that part of the retail business. So you have to constantly be reselling them. The way to do this is using a lead follow-up system. Look at what you've got. Do you have a CRM? Are you using Google Suite? Are you using Outlook? Are you using reminders on your phone? Use the tools that are in front of you. Don't go out and spend a ton of money if you don't have to. When I started this business, I had a 3x5 file box that I carried around because we didn't have computers. I didn't get my first computer until I think it was like 5 years into the business, 3 years into the business. I bought a laptop. Went and got my first cell phone after when I scheduled my first showing because I needed it then. Still had a pager at the time. So look at what you do. And that file box just had A through Z and 1 through 31 in there. And I just kept everyone in that, and I kept following up, and I was early. I didn't have to worry about months to follow up. I was just following up with the same people over and over and over again. So use something. Just have some form of reminders and keeping you up to date, because you can't keep it all going up here. At least I can't. I'm not that smart. And then this is a good one, guys. Is understand that prospecting without great lead follow-up is a complete waste of time. Meaning that if you are just going to pick up the phone and call 100 people, but never follow up with them, don't even do it. Because you're going to get a little something, and then you're going to just waste all this time going on. You have to follow up. Motivated people love aggressive, motivated agents. But like Maria just showed us in that analogy, what she went on with that for sale by owner, people don't walk around with a billboard board, one of those sandwich board things that we see like on people's places with their motivation written on it. They're not walking around going, hey, I'm motivated. Someone just come knock on my door. They want people to pull the motivation out of them. You're motivated to go buy a pair of shoes when you go to a store, when I said that analogy. But we respond back, no, we're just looking. If someone could help you get what you want, and you can get the heck out of there right away, you do it all day long. But we don't want to get into conversation. We're not wired that way. It's not natural for us. So we throw that up and we don't even know we say it. It comes out that quick. It's the same with a for sale by owner. Even though they have a sign on their lawn, their cell phone on it, they're letting someone walk in their house, they still are going to use what's programmed in them. We have to pull it out. So motivated people love aggressive, motivated agents that are going to ask them questions. Now, the last thing I want to leave you guys with, because we're getting close to the time, is follow the 3-4-5 rule. And what that is reach out to a lead a minimum of 3 different ways. Phone, text, email, direct message, a minimum of 3 different ways. Then call them and do this over multiple times over 4 weeks. If you haven't got a hold of them, add them to a drip campaign. If you haven't talked to them 5 times and have not gotten an appointment with them, again, set them up on a drip campaign. Don't go in thinking the lead is dead. The lead is only dead if you have no way of contacting them. So if their email's bad, their phone number's bad, you don't have an address, you have a name that you don't even know is their name, that I guess I would say is a bad lead. But follow the 3-4-5 rule. Communicate with them 3 different ways. don't just communicate with them in one. If they've given you their email address and their cell phone number, use them. If they've only given you their email address, use that. But try to find them in other spots. Maybe you can find them on Facebook and friend request them. You know, look for different ways to stalk them. Get to know them. When you sit, another thing with Facebook too, guys, you get an appointment, always ask them, are you on Facebook? If you spend lots of time there, or like Anna spends a lot of time on Instagram, are you on Instagram? Connect with them early on. Let them get to know you before you walk in the door by seeing your human side, and stalk them. Look at photos, look at everything going on. Get to know what makes them tick. And use that to your advantage, because you're going to learn a lot about them by seeing them on Facebook. You're going to help find out their personality style. You're going to get to know them. And they've put it out there to the world. So it's not bizarre stuff for you to do. And they've accepted your friend request for you to see it. Check it out. It helps. So that's what I wanted to go through today. We're going to spend time next week again going deeper in the lead conversion techniques, because we spent so much time on our homework and self-work and really backtracking about last week's, but I think it was very, very important. And I think we got a lot of growth out of it. And I think there's a lot of content there for you guys to go back and listen to what Maria brought through and what both Michelle shared and things. I think there's a lot there for everyone. So this is a holiday week, guys. Things are a little bit different for what we're going to do. There will be no call this Friday, but there will be a call Wednesday and Friday coming up into there. So we'll pick up back into that aspect, share some of the stuff that's going on in our Facebook group into there. But the self-work and homework for this week, guys, is write out 5 different ways that you can get someone's why or their motivation. Look at that, express that. Go look for 5 different ways that you can do that, and share some of the things that you could ask the question, a particular way you could do this in the group to find out and go deeper. So think of 5 questions that will bring up people's motivation and their why a little bit more. Identify and place in your schedule your lead follow-up time. Should have at least 30 minutes right now when you get started in lead follow-up. Now, my mindset with lead follow-up is it's just as important, if not more important, than lead generation. So I count that as my lead generation time. So if I've got 2 hours scheduled, it's 2 hours of lead generation and follow-up time. And I may be lead generating 30 minutes. I may be following up because I got a lot of follow-up, but I make sure that I focus in both areas in that time allotted. And remember, guys, don't try to go. I know you've heard all kinds of stories, and you've heard about top producers doing this, and this is what their schedule looks like. And you think you have to model after them, and you just add so much pressure that you stall and you don't do it. Just do more than you're doing now and get consistent with it, and know that you're going to get better and better and better, and your schedule will look like that someday. It doesn't have to look like that tomorrow. It just has to look better tomorrow than it looked today. That's a win. Don't put that much pressure. We have too much pressure on us to begin with. Slow and steady, consistently, always wins the race. Sprints and then giving up always lose. So just get into consistency. And then the final thing is look about setting up your reminders or your to-do list using either CRM, iOS reminders on your phone, Android, whatever, Google Tasks, whatever you have, Outlook, whatever you're using, use it to its fullest extent. You have so much stuff available to you that's right at your fingertips that we're not using. Don't look into having to go out and invest in something. just use what you have. And when you can't do what you need to do with what you have, then look at adding more things. Just keep it simple and use it. All right, guys, well, I hope you got a lot from today's call. I know I did. I really appreciate you guys. I have a little favor to ask. If all of you, I'm going to send you guys an email tonight with a link to a free giveaway that I'm giving out. It's a 10-day giveaway. If you could get 5 to 10 people that you know in there to actually receive the 5-day giveaway or 10-day giveaway, I would really appreciate it. I have a goal of doubling the people that are in my list of people that I can make impacts on this weekend for Thanksgiving. So I'm looking at and calling in everyone to I just want to give away something free. They get this, give them some things, they can start putting some things in action. You guys download it as well. And most of the stuff is stuff that I've already shared with you and I'm planning on sharing. Some of it's a little bit of stuff that isn't there. But just go in and every day you're going to get an email with something in there. So I really, really appreciate if you could do that for me. And last but not least, I am very thankful to have you guys in my world and to be on this call and to open up and share with me and let me to have the ability to make an impact on you. So I'm very, very thankful for it. I hope you guys have a wonderful holiday. Y'all stay safe and healthy. And I can't wait till Wednesday to talk to you guys again. If there's anything I can do during that time, you know how to reach me. All right. Love you guys.
Bye, guys. Happy
Thank
Thanksgiving.
you. Happy Thanksgiving.